Have you ever found yourself thinking that your life seems to be without direction? A feeling that silently surrounds you, pulling you into an unexplained emptiness without a true purpose. Now imagine waking up every day with a deep sense of peace and calm, knowing for sure that you're on the right path, with all the pieces of your destiny fitting perfectly. What if I told you that today I'm going to share Stoic lessons that can make this possible? Teachings that, when applied, will transform how you view life, challenges, and your own purpose. Today we'll build the foundation for your new journey, for a new you. Stay with me, and you'll learn to develop an inner strength that will give you clarity, confidence, and serenity, no matter what life throws at you. This video's goal is not only to entertain, but to change how you see life, so you're never the same again. Ready for the challenge? Let's go. First, focus on what is within your control. Imagine you're in a small boat, floating in the middle of a vast ocean. The waves move powerfully and you feel the force of each current. At first, you try to row against the tide, thinking you can conquer the natural forces and steer the boat exactly where you want. The effort is exhausting, but you keep at it. Each wave crashing against you feels like an overwhelming wall of force, and soon enough, your arms have no energy left. Panic starts to set in as you realize you don't control the waters around you. For a long time, I lived like that frantic rower, fighting what was beyond my reach. I tried to control every detail of my path, people coming and going, unexpected situations, the uncertain future. Life was an ocean, and I kept rowing against it. There was always a worry that pulled me down. What will people think of me? Am I doing everything right? Why aren't things going as I planned? It was a constant battle with the world around me, a battle that drained me and drowned me in frustration. Until one day I understood that fighting against what I couldn't control was like trying to stop the ocean from moving. I realized I had been ignoring something important. I still had power over the boat, over my oars, over the direction I chose to take. Even if the sea was unchangeable, I could adjust the sails, shift my course. That was the moment I decided to stop fighting the current and instead learn to navigate with it. I realized life doesn't have to be a struggle against unmovable forces. When I began to focus on my reactions, my thoughts, my attitude, the journey transformed. Instead of fighting the wind, I learned to set my sails so it would push me forward. I couldn't change the tides, but I could choose how to deal with them. Suddenly, the ocean didn't feel like an enemy, but rather a challenging landscape where I could move with intelligence and peace. It was the teachings of Stoicism that helped me see this reality. The power to control oneself is the only true control we have. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. With this in mind, I let go of trying to control what was beyond my reach and focused on what I could choose: my reactions, my resilience, my courage to keep moving forward. Since then, I've learned that the ocean of life doesn't have to be an endless storm. With the right perspective, it's possible to navigate it calmly and even enjoy the journey. Second, embracing change, accepting the natural flow of life. Maybe you're in a phase of life where changes seem to come more often than you'd like. That old job that once gave you security now feels uncertain. That stable relationship, which you thought would last forever, is going through a rough phase. Facing these changes, the immediate urge is to hold tight, fight to keep everything as it is, as if, by sheer will, you could stop time and freeze life. However, the Stoics believed that change isn't something to fear. On the contrary, they saw the universe as something fluid, where everything transforms. To them, resisting these transformations was to fight against the very nature of things, like trying to hold back the waves of the sea with your hands. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said that change is a natural, inevitable process. And by accepting it, we let go of the suffering caused by our resistance. Imagine a tree planted in soil that, over time, becomes drier. Sensing the change in conditions, the tree doesn't try to uproot itself to escape. Instead, it adapts its growth, sending its roots deeper in search of water and light, becoming stronger, more resilient. We can be the same way. Rather than fighting what we can't control, we can change our perspective. Look for new ways to grow and thrive even as conditions around us change. Modern psychology supports this view. Modern Psychologist William Bridges studied how people handle transitions and found that, although external change is often inevitable, what truly transforms our lives is the internal process of adaptation. Those who view changes as opportunities to learn and grow experience lower stress levels and a heightened sense of well-being. When we see change not only as the end of something familiar, but also as the beginning of something new, we free ourselves from fear. Embracing this idea that nothing is permanent requires practice. It begins with consciously accepting that the world around us and the people we love are not unchanging. This awareness can be painful, but also liberating. It allows us to let go of rigid expectations and embrace the present more fully. When the Stoics speak of living according to nature, they invite us to recognize that the universe is in constant motion, that everything we know will one day change. And by accepting this, we begin to live more fully, adapting to whatever comes instead of being trapped by what's already gone. If you found this content useful, share your experience in the comments. How have you been practicing being present in the moment? Or if you prefer, simply say, I choose to live in the present. That way, we can make this experience one of shared growth. Third, deepening the art of living in the present moment. Living fully in the present is an essential skill, especially in a world where past memories and future anxieties often pull us away from reality. When our mind is divided, the present, which is the only moment we can truly control, slips through our fingers. The art of being genuinely present is crucial for inner peace and happiness. The now, the only real time. The present is the only moment we truly own. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. Yet we often cling to what has happened, reliving mistakes or painful moments, or we worry about what hasn't yet come to pass. This prevents us from enjoying what the present offers, leading to suffering and anxiety. For Stoic philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, focusing on the present moment was vital for personal fulfillment and inner peace. Epictetus, for example, taught that our response to events is more important than the events themselves. The impact of absence in the present moment. Imagine you're at dinner with someone special, but your mind is occupied with work concerns or family issues. Physically, you're there, but mentally, you're absent. This disconnect prevents you from fully enjoying the experience, leaving a feeling of emptiness. Being present is not just a choice, it's a way to reconnect with the ability to deeply feel each moment, enhancing our relationships and well-being. Jon Kabat-Zinn and the Power of Mindfulness. Jon Kabat-Zinn, a pioneer of mindfulness practice in the West, developed mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, which teaches how to cultivate mindfulness in daily life. Studies show that practicing mindfulness reduces stress and improves mental health, offering a new way to handle challenges. Practicing mindfulness doesn't require major lifestyle changes. Small steps can bring significant benefits. Incorporating the habit of being present. Here are some simple practices to train the mind to stay focused on the present. 1. Conscious breathing. Conscious breathing is a simple yet effective way to anchor the mind in the now. Whenever you feel your mind wandering, focus on the air moving in and out of your lungs. This exercise can be done anytime, helping to bring calm and focus. 2. Attentive observation of surroundings. Take a closer look around you, noticing details you'd normally miss, like colors, sounds, and temperature. This helps interrupt thoughts about the past or future, allowing you to connect more deeply with the present. 3. Intentional pause. Before responding, in conversations or decision-making, practice pausing before reacting. This brief moment of reflection prevents impulsive responses and provides clarity and control over your actions, keeping the mind anchored in the present. Benefits of living in the present. Living in the present brings numerous benefits. It strengthens personal connections, improves mental health, and reduces anxiety. By focusing on the now, we handle challenges better and overcome negative emotions. We live more richly and enjoy the small beauties of daily life. Practicing presence consistently. Mastering the art of living in the present isn't a quick task. It's a constant practice that requires patience. The mind will naturally wander, but each time we bring our attention back to the present, we're cultivating a more conscious way of living. As the saying goes, practice makes perfect. It's not about achieving a constant state of mindfulness, but rather making it a daily habit. The present moment, the true path to inner peace. Living in the present is a lifestyle that can transform our outlook. By freeing ourselves from the chains of the past and anxieties about the future, we find true freedom in the now. It's in this moment that we have the power to act, decide, and feel, and it's here that the peace and tranquility we seek reside. The present, therefore, is a gift in itself, offering us the chance to live more consciously and connected. Fourth, the power of perspective. Perspective is a powerful tool that can shape our lives, bringing balance or becoming a barrier depending on how we use it. I'll share a personal experience that illustrates the impact of perspective. Once, after a simple family argument, a small misunderstanding turned into an emotional storm. I felt like something fragile was on the verge of breaking, imagining that the disagreement meant the end of a long-standing bond. Reflecting on what happened, I realized that my distress didn't come from the facts, but from my interpretation of them. That's when I remembered a Stoic lesson from Marcus Aurelius. If it hurts on the outside, don't let it corrode you inside. I decided to change my approach, responding with more calmness and understanding. This led to a productive conversation that strengthened our connection, turning what seemed like an ending into a chance for unity. The Stoics teach us to look at situations from a broader perspective. When we face difficulties, our emotions can cloud our judgment. But through reflection, we realize that we often give more weight to events than they actually hold. The importance of examining perspective. How often do small issues turn into big dilemmas simply because we don't see the situation more broadly? This reminds me of the inspiring story of Helen Keller, who, despite being deaf and blind, saw her limitations as challenges to overcome. She became an advocate for people with disabilities and, through a different perspective, transformed her difficulties into opportunities for growth. Like Helen Keller, we can reinterpret our circumstances. With the right perspective, we can see beyond immediate obstacles and find new possibilities, even in everyday challenges. How to change perspective in small steps. Changing the way you see the world might seem challenging, but it can be done with simple actions. Here are 3 steps to help cultivate a more balanced outlook. 1. Pause before reacting. When something bothers you, take a pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is my reaction proportionate to what happened? This pause lets you assess the situation more calmly and helps prevent impulsive reactions. 2. Reframe your mental narrative. When facing a problem, ask, what lesson or opportunity can I find here? Transforming challenges into learning opportunities builds resilience and helps you grow. 3rd, project into the future. Ask yourself, will this matter 6 months or a year from now? Many of today's concerns lose relevance over time, and looking at the bigger picture helps you focus on what truly matters. These steps help shift your perspective and lead to a more balanced and peaceful life. Perspective as a tool for personal transformation. Understanding that we can choose how to interpret events around us gives us immense power. We're not victims of circumstances, but authors of our own story. The Stoics teach us that instead of reacting impulsively, we can see each situation as an opportunity to improve ourselves. For instance, when dealing with disappointment, we can use it to practice detachment or forgiveness. And when facing failure, we can view it as a stepping stone to success. The power of daily reflection. A key Stoic practice is daily reflection. At the end of each day, take a moment to evaluate your actions, reactions, and thoughts. Ask, in what situations could I have applied a more balanced perspective? This daily self-reflection helps identify patterns and allows us to adjust our focus for a calmer life. Changing perspective doesn't just alter our emotional state, it also positively impacts those around us. Adopting perspective as a tool for transformation is one of the most valuable lessons we can learn enriching our life journey. Fifth, have a clear goal and define your purpose. Have you ever wondered if an ant wakes up pondering its task for the day? Or a lion in the savannah, contemplating whether to hunt or rest? Of course not. They follow their instinct, guided by a natural, straightforward purpose. The same applies to us, although with a crucial difference: our ability to define and pursue our own purpose. Having a clear direction in life is essential because it lets us know not only where we're going, but why we're heading there. As philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Without a well-defined purpose, our actions become fragmented and aimless, like a compass without a needle. Often we wake up feeling at the mercy of others' expectations or life circumstances, unsure of what we truly want to achieve. But imagine starting each day with a clear vision of what you want to accomplish. How different would that be? This clarity transforms not only your day, but your entire journey. Stoic philosophy reinforces the importance of having a clear mission. Epictetus, for example, highlights that when our purpose is well defined, even the toughest obstacles become opportunities to reinforce our commitment. The key lesson here is knowing what truly matters to you, what guides your choices in life. It's not just about acting, but acting with intention, doing what is truly meaningful to your essence. Imagine waking up feeling completely focused, with no doubts about what you need to do, knowing exactly why and where you're going. Every step you take, every challenge you face, becomes an opportunity to get closer to your bigger goal. This brings a sense of inner peace and unstoppable motivation. Even if others don't understand, or the path is tough, you have clarity, and that's what matters. Your purpose is the key that gives meaning to every action. But how do you discover this purpose? The first step is to reflect on what truly energizes you, what sparks your passion. It's not about chasing every opportunity, but identifying what is essential to you and focusing on that. Purpose gives you the strength to keep going, even when difficulties arise. When you have a clear goal, your life transforms. You stop being a puppet of circumstances and become the master of your destiny. Sixth, find peace in simplicity. How many times have you heard about people who, despite having it all, money, fame, recognition, still aren't happy? What makes someone who seems to have everything keep searching for more? The answer may be surprisingly simple. True peace doesn't come from what we acquire or achieve, but from our ability to appreciate what's essential, what we already have. A good example of this is actor Brad Pitt's life. Though a symbol of success and status, he openly shared that despite it all, he didn't find peace until he simplified his life. He went through moments of existential crisis and personal struggles, finding more serenity and contentment only after he stopped constantly seeking external validation. The Stoic philosophers like Epictetus knew this long ago. They taught that true wealth doesn't lie in great possessions, but in having few needs. When we need a lot to feel complete, we're actually relying on things outside our control. If our lives revolve around acquiring more, we're building our happiness on unstable ground, as there will always be something missing. But what if instead of wanting more, we desired less? Philosophy doesn't ask us to give up what we have, but to change how we view what is enough for a fulfilling life. When we stop constantly wanting more, we start to see the beauty and peace in what's already around us. This allows us to find tranquility, not in external possessions, but in inner simplicity. Have you ever stopped to reflect on this? Are you truly focusing on what matters or getting caught in the endless chase for the superficial? The pressure to always want more is a constant in today's society, but it's essential to question if this desire genuinely brings us closer to the peace we seek. Sometimes simply reflecting on what's truly important can change our perspective and help us find peace and simplicity. 1. Let go of the unnecessary. We often hold on to things that add no real value to our lives. If something no longer serves you, let it go. Fewer possessions mean fewer distractions. 2. Practice negative visualization. Take a few moments each day to imagine life without the things you take for granted. Your relationships, your health, your job. This isn't meant to cause anxiety, but to help you appreciate what you already have. 3. Find moments of silence. Make time each day to disconnect from technology and the outside world. Silence offers clarity and calm that everyday noise can't provide. Remember, true peace isn't found in what we own, but in our ability to live simply and authentically. The power of living with less weight frees us from many worries and helps us see beauty in the small things. By learning to seek peace and simplicity, you'll find that you never need more than you already have. As each day passes, if you apply these lessons in your life, you'll discover that there's no need to search for happiness in possessions or external validation. True happiness lies in the conscious choice to live with purpose and simplicity. 7. The practice of gratitude. Ancient philosophers believed that gratitude is one of the most powerful keys to inner peace. It goes beyond just recognizing what we have. It's about valuing what we already possess and seeing it as a gift not to be taken for granted. Imagine your life as a vast landscape, with each experience and moment like a flower blooming in that wide field. When we practice gratitude, we're gathering these flowers and admiring the beauty that already surrounds us. Now think about it. How often do you truly stop to appreciate these flowers, or do you simply keep moving, waiting for something bigger, something more impressive? Seneca warned that the highest honor lies in a grateful heart. For the Stoics, gratitude was a constant practice, like a muscle that needs regular exercise to grow strong. It's not about waiting for grand moments or perfect circumstances to be thankful. It's about seeing the extraordinary in everyday things. When we express gratitude, we connect with what we already have, grounding ourselves in the present and freeing ourselves from the constant desire for more. Modern psychology supports this wisdom too. Robert Emmons, a leading gratitude researcher, found that people who regularly adopt this habit experience greater emotional well-being, less stress, and deeper relationships. His studies show that gratitude not only enhances our emotional state, but also has significant physical benefits. It improves sleep, lowers blood pressure, and strengthens the immune system. By cultivating gratitude, we don't just change our worldview, we also transform the quality of our lives. Have you ever been so focused on what's missing in your life that you've overlooked what you've already achieved? Perhaps you feel that despite all your efforts, you still haven't reached your goals. You might wake up each morning thinking about how hard the day will be or about the goals still unaccomplished. But what if you started appreciating what's already in your life? Often we're so focused on the next step that we forget to look around and acknowledge what we've already accomplished. What if you decided to shift that focus today? Imagine the relief of walking through life aware of what you already have, rather than worrying about what's still lacking. The food on the table, a friendly conversation, the laughter shared at work yesterday. Shifting this focus can deeply transform your perspective. You'll start appreciating the little things, those that often go unnoticed. Over time, the emptiness you sometimes feel will turn into a sense of fulfillment. But gratitude doesn't arise spontaneously. It needs to be cultivated day by day. To start, adopt 3 simple habits. First, every night before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for that day. It doesn't matter if they're big or small. What matters is that you start noticing the positive in life. The second habit is to appreciate the everyday. Whether you're outside, at work, or even at home, take a moment to look around. What have you been ignoring? True wealth often lies in simple things, like a genuine conversation or a ray of sunlight. The third habit is to share your gratitude. Don't keep this feeling just for yourself. Tell the people around you what you appreciate about them. Expressing your gratitude can change how you relate to the world around you. Practicing daily gratitude not only changes how we see our lives, but also enhances our connection with others. If you adopt this habit, you'll never be the same again. 8th, transforming fear into action. Fear can be like a huge shadow cast on the wall, appearing enormous and overwhelming, as if it could consume us at any moment. But when we step closer and face that fear, we often find it's merely a distortion of something much smaller. Doubts and insecurities can paralyze us. Yet if we use them as fuel, they can help change the direction of our lives. For the Stoics, moments of fear weren't something to be avoided, but rather faced head-on. Seneca reminded us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. teaching that the real issue isn't what happens, but how we interpret what happens. Fear, then, is not the enemy. It's what we do with it that matters. Do we remain paralyzed, suffering, and doubting our abilities? Or do we see it as a chance to move forward? Stoicism teaches us to see challenges as teachers. In Epictetus's wise words, it's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. So difficulties and insecurities aren't barriers, but hidden opportunities. Every time fear arises, we have two options. Let it control us or face it with courage. What would happen if every time you felt fear, you saw it as a sign that you're about to grow? Acting in spite of fear shows us that it has no power beyond what we allow it. Think of that situation you've been putting off because of uncertainty. It could be an important choice, a necessary conversation, or a change you know you need to make. Fear consumes you, keeping you in place. But what if you pushed yourself to take that step? At first, it might feel intimidating, but with every bit of progress, uncertainty fades and confidence builds. I've been through this myself. I remember a time in my life when I needed to make a tough decision. For weeks, I avoided it out of fear of the consequences. However, the day I finally acted, I realized the change wasn't as terrifying as I'd imagined, and more importantly, that action brought me the freedom I needed. Still, overcoming fears doesn't happen overnight. Here are 3 small tips for facing them in your daily life. First, list your biggest fears. Write down what causes you anxiety. Ask yourself, is it really as big as it seems? When we take our fears out of our minds and put them on paper, we can see them more clearly and with less emotion. Second, take small steps toward these fears. If you're afraid of public speaking, start by practicing with someone you trust. If you're nervous about making a big decision, break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Each small advance reduces the feeling of facing something larger than you. And remember, doubt is natural. We all go through moments of insecurity. The difference lies in how we respond. Don't let those feelings define or paralyze you. Every time fear arises, keep moving forward despite it. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear, but continuing on despite it. By applying this Stoic philosophy, fear will no longer be an obstacle, but rather a driving force. And you have all it takes to transform your life by facing your fears. Ninth, turning obstacles into stepping stones. Imagine climbing a steep, slippery mountain, thinking you're near the top when suddenly a giant rock blocks your way. Instead of seeing it as an impassable barrier, you decide to use it as a step to keep going. What if every obstacle in your life was treated this way? The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, taught us that obstacles are part of the process of growth, not barriers to overcome. Every difficulty is a chance to grow stronger. Nick Vujicic, a man born without arms and legs, embodies the power of turning limitations into opportunities. Rather than being held back by his circumstances, Nick chose to use them as a platform to inspire people around the world. He shows us that the power of transformation lies in our minds, not in external conditions. Stoics like Epictetus remind us that it's not the challenge itself that holds us back, but our attitude towards it. Challenges teach us patience, resilience, and creativity. 10th, think of life as a flowing river. When it encounters rocks, the water doesn't stop but flows around and continues. Obstacles are the same. Our ability to adapt and flow determines our progress. To turn challenges into stepping stones for personal growth, shift your perspective. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Instead of seeing obstacles as blockages, try viewing them as lessons. Another crucial step is to break large challenges into smaller parts. Often, challenges seem impossible when viewed as a whole. Focusing on the present and taking one step at a time helps us move forward. Every difficulty we overcome makes us stronger and prepares us for the next challenge. But what if the mountain feels impossible to climb? What if the challenge seems more than you can bear? The key is in cultivating inner strength. We all face moments when life feels overwhelming, but in those moments, true strength comes from within. This strength is like a seed waiting to grow and flourish when we need it most. It's already within you. You just need to trust it to face life's trials. Picture yourself as a tree in a storm. The strong wind makes its branches sway, and everything around it seems about to collapse. but the tree doesn't break. Why? Because its roots run deep. That's our inner strength, the roots that keep us steady when life gets rough. It may seem like the world around us is in chaos, but if our roots are strong, we stay grounded. The Stoics deeply believed in this concept. Seneca said, "Fortune does not destroy, it reveals who we are." For the Stoics, hard times weren't punishments or tragedies, but tests that reveal our true strength. We can't control what happens outside of us, but we can decide how we respond. That is the essence of inner strength, not an absence of problems, but the ability to face them with calm and courage. Stoic philosophy teaches that when everything external fails, the answer lies within us. Research by Kelly McGonigal, psychologist and author of The Upside of Stress, shows that how we view our inner abilities directly impacts our capacity to overcome difficulties. McGonigal explains that when we see stress or challenges as growth opportunities rather than threats, our bodies and minds respond in a healthier way. A growth mindset and resilience allow us to access that inner strength we often forget we have. Now imagine yourself in a situation where the day has been exhausting, full of challenges. Maybe work didn't go as planned, there was a misunderstanding with someone close, or you feel like everything is working against you. At the end of the day, you sit in silence, feeling completely drained. However, within you there is a spark, a small flame that tells you not to give up. This is your inner strength. It's the same energy that has helped you overcome difficulties in the past and will be there when you need it most. The only step you need to take is to trust it, nurture this strength, and let it guide you. Follow these steps to strengthen your inner strength. First, remember your roots. When things get tough, take a moment to recall all the times you overcame what you thought was impossible. Every experience you've been through has given you more strength. How many times did you think you wouldn't make it, but you did? Use these memories to fuel your confidence. Second, try to shift your perspective on stress. Instead of seeing difficulties as enemies, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? When we start to view challenges as opportunities for growth, our inner strength activates, and each difficulty becomes a tool to make us stronger. Finally, practice calm in moments of adversity. If you can remain serene when everything around you seems to be falling apart, you'll have taken a big step toward taking control of your life. Ask yourself, how do I want to react to this situation? A simple deep breath and a pause can help you access this inner strength. Remember, true strength doesn't come from a lack of difficulties, but from how we choose to face them. The ability to persevere and keep going, despite hardships, is what truly defines your strength. If you cultivate this skill, you'll discover that you have much more resilience than you ever imagined. Absorb the power of these lessons to transform your life, and you will never be the same person again. Let each obstacle become a chance for your personal growth. Within you lies the key to achieving the life you desire and deserve. Give yourself the opportunity to open the door to a more promising future. If you've made it this far, comment below. I never stop evolving. This way, I'll recognize the focused Stoics who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video so you won't miss the upcoming content. See you in the next video. Take care and keep cultivating your inner peace.